Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and the beautiful Circus Circus Hotel and Casino, host of the 9th Invitational International Tournament of Champions radio-controlled aerobatic competition, featuring the greatest names in radio-controlled aero modeling from around the world.
Hi, this is Mike Collins. Here at the North Las Vegas Radio Control Model Airfield, the most distinguished competitors, judges, and officials from the world of aero modeling have gathered here today for the 9th Invitational International Tournament of Champions. This event started back in 1974 when William G. Bennett, chairman of the board of Circus Circus Enterprises Incorporated, brought together 20 of the top radio control flyers in the world. Since that first event, the TOC, as the event has become known by enthusiasts, has awarded almost $500,000 in prize money, making it the richest event in aero modeling history. Today, $118,000 in prize money is at stake, so what we're about to see promises to be a very serious competition.
After the first day of qualifying rounds, we talked with some of the contestants about the event and their flying careers.
We're here with John Beasley from Ireland. John, you're pretty dominant over in Ireland. How does it feel to be at the TOC here in Las Vegas?
Fantastic. I've been looking forward to it for years, and eventually got my invitation last year to come, and I'm thrilled to bits to be here. The models, the weather, the flying side is just 100%.
Speaking of models, what are you flying today, John?
I'm flying a Laser 200. It's a Bob Godfrey kit, and I did have an Ultimate biplane back in Ireland, but unfortunately I crashed it before I came over.
You know, speaking of crashes, I've heard that you're quite a good-hearted gentleman. I understand you've had a few mishaps in the past, quite a rough time of it, and yet able to come out of it with a smile. Tell us about that.
Well, I had 3 models ready to come to the TOC. I had an Ultimate and two Lasers. I crashed my Ultimate about 3 months ago due to a battery failure. I crashed a Laser due to another battery failure. I arrived here with 1 model. I practiced on a Thursday, came out Friday morning, and crashed the 3rd Laser. So here I was with no model, traveling all the way from Ireland, and I got a call then from one of the flyers here. And he says, John, I have a spare model, do you want to fly it? And I says, great. So he gave me his model, his radio, which is totally different to mine. So I had to get used to the radio, get used to his model, and what have you, so I'm flying another gentleman's model.
Oh, that's a fantastic attitude. John, it's a pleasure to have you here, and good luck.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You know, every sport has its veterans, and we're with one of them right now. His name is Dave Brown. Dave was 5 times the USA national champion and also 5 times a world championship finalist, medalist, in fact. Dave, how you doing today?
Well, we're not doing too bad for an old guy, you know, and this game is more and more getting a lot of the younger kids involved, and I'm glad to see that. It's great. I don't mind being the old guy in this gang, mainly because I've made an awful lot of friends. It's the greatest bunch of people you could run across. They're friendly, and all the traveling I've done, and I've literally gone around the world flying model airplanes. I think the greatest feeling that this sport's given me is I can go anywhere in a country, anywhere in the world. I can arrive broke, hungry, out of gas, what have you. All I got to do is make a telephone call and be somebody there to help. And the people are what makes the sport. And to see the young kids coming up and doing better, that's really great. That is going to lead to the sport continuing to perpetuate the sport, and that's what I'd like to see in the future.
What are you flying today?
I'm flying an airplane that's called the Weeks Special. It's actually Kermit Weeks' airplane that he flew in the national championships and world championships a few years ago. It's a very highly modified Pit Special. It's what the airplane really is.
Dave, what changes would you like to see in the future in this sport?
Oh boy. That's an awfully hard question because there's so many areas that you could explore. If the main part of the sport is going to be changed for the better, I think it would be to further emulate this style of flying, that is the turnaround type as the FAI has done in the lower classes. And if we can develop quieter airplanes and these types of things, maybe we can move our activity in to make it more visible in the community.
Well, I'm certainly sure that all the officials here associated with the TOC are happy to have you as as a spokesperson, a veteran. We hope to see you for many years to come. Dave, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
I'd sure like to thank Bill Bennett and all the crew that have put this on. They do a hell of a job. They have for years, and we really enjoy ourselves out here.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
The second day of the competition saw some spectacular flights by all the contestants. Here's part of a 3-minute freestyle air show program, performed by Steve Stricker.
We have a 35% Ultimate 300. It's a design of Chris Lash and myself. Unique features of the airplane is it has very thin airfoil on both the top and bottom wing. It's 7%. We pulled out all the stops on trying to get it light. We used Bob Violet's fiberglass balsa wood laminate for all the stress points, and that saved us quite a bit of weight. We also molded and all the parts on the airplane. Another unique thing on the airplane is we challenged the manufacturer to make foam that is as light as the Japanese make. I called the manufacturer and said, your foam's coming out about 1.1 pounds per cubic foot. The Japanese can do it at 0.7. What can you do for me? And he blew, they call it blowing a bat of foam, a 18-foot by 9-foot square bat of foam to get the material for my wing cores. We saved a few ounces there. They got it down to 0.85 ounces or pounds per cubic foot. We used all hand-selected SIG balsa, and we're powered by a Sachs Dolmer 3.7.
During the 4 days of the competition, there were a lot of activities and a lot of special moments. Join us now on a tour around the 9th International Tournament of Champions. As the qualifying rounds drew to a close, the official standings looked like this. John Beasley of Ireland, whom we spoke with earlier, placed 20th with a combined score of 45,074 points. At 19th position was John Robinson of England. His final score was 47,638 points. Next, finishing 18th, was Jeff Tracy of Australia. Jeff flew this model of a Russian Sukhoi Su-26M monoplane. Place 17 was taken by Hajime Hara of Japan. Hajime flew this model of the popular Laser 200 monoplane. Dean Pappas from Lodi, New Jersey, placed 16th at his first appearance at the Tournament of Champions. 15th place went to six-time German national champion Gunther Hoppe of West Germany. Veteran TOC participant Steve Helms took place 14. Lucky 13 went to veteran flyer Dave Brown from Hamilton, Ohio. 1988 Japanese championship winner Gichi Naruki from Japan landed in place 12. 11th position went to Dean Koger of Xenia, Ohio. Dean flew this beautiful Weeks Solution biplane. All of the participants in the lower 20 positions received $2,750 in prize money for their participation. As we moved to the top 10 positions, the prize money increased. In 10th place from Canada was six-time Canadian national champion Ivan Christensen. Place 9 was Bertrand Lawson, 1986 European champion from West Germany. Place 8 found Bill Cunningham of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, taking home $4,000 in prize money flying his ultimate biplane. John Britt, Steen Skybolt, flew to place 7 and a $4,500 prize, as well as a special award for the best model aircraft in the competition. John takes home to Lake Charles, Louisiana, total winnings of $9,500 for this tournament. Place 6 went to Steve Stricker of Baltimore. Steve's Ultimate 300 biplane brought him $5,000 in prize money. The top 5 contestants going into the final round looked like this. Place 5, Tony Frkowiak of Miamisburg, Ohio. Place 4, 16-year-old Chip Hyde of Yuma, Arizona. Place 3, Wolfgang Matt of Liechtenstein. Place 2, defending champion Steve Rojecki from Las Vegas, Nevada. And in place 1, going into the finals, is 7-time TOC champion Hanno Pretner of Austria. Let's go to the first round of the finals and see some of the championship flying, which makes the TOC the most exciting event in aero modeling. The finals started at the break of dawn, much earlier than expected because of the windy conditions predicted for later in the day. Here's Tony Frkowiak flying the known compulsory portion of the final competition. In this event, contestants have been given a program of figures in advance, allowing them time to practice the maneuvers.
Been modeling since I was a kid, competing in RC events for the last 12 years. This is my 3rd Tournament of Champions. I've been on 3 U.S. World Teams, and I was also the 1987 U.S. Nationals winner. Just keep going at it, you know, just keep working at it.
What do you think about the competition this year?
The competition, I think this is one of the best Tournament of Champions I've ever seen. The variety of the airplanes is real good, and the biplanes are just flying phenomenal. And I think the competition's quite good. There's a few different names up on the top, and it's getting more and more intense as it's going on. You know.
What kind of plane are you flying today? And tell us a little bit about the more technical aspects of your engines and why you chose them, actually.
Okay. Well, I'm flying a Godfrey-built, precision-built models Ultimate. I'm flying that plane because I knew Bob had been working on the design for quite a period of time, and I also knew that with my new job I was not going to be able to build my own models. So I talked to Bob very early on when I heard that the TOC was going to be on, and contacted him, and the model I'm flying is actually the first prototype of that size Ultimate. It's an excellent, excellent airplane, very well built, and the design is excellent. It flies very, very well. The engine I'm using is an OPS Maxi Twin. I'm running that on the recommendation of Don Chapman, a very good engineer type from Dayton, Ohio, a good friend of mine. The engine is using all stock OPS parts, but we're running Don Chapman's VTEC tuned pipes, and they're working very well, but the end result of the engine is just a lot of little things that we've had to set up. A good carburetor and good pipe settings and the right propeller on it. And the engine's working just beautifully. The radio is a Futaba PCM 1024, excellent radio. It has many mixing functions and adjustment features that I can utilize with the biplane, and it flies very, very well. I'm using 131S servos, and I'm using a 6-volt battery pack in the airplane to increase the power and speed of the servos a little bit.
Tony from Kobe, USA. Thank you, Tony.
Now let's watch Steve Rojecki, defending champion, fly his unknown compulsory program. In this event, contestants must fly a sequence of maneuvers without practicing in advance.
I'm flying an Ultimate biplane. It's a third-scale model of a full-scale aerobatic airplane designed by Gordon Price of Canada. The airplane weighs about 18 pounds. It's powered by a Super Tartan twin-cylinder horizontally opposed engine. The engine's manufactured in Italy by the Tartan model company. I think I have a little bit of advantage in my airplane over some of the others, as mine's quite a bit lighter, up to 3 pounds compared to some of the other fellows flying the Ultimate Bipe, which allows it to. The airplane snaps a little better, a little crisper, rolls a little better, and actually has more vertical power. You know, I can make much longer vertical lines than they can.
Very nice flight by Steve from Kobe, USA.
We have with us here Steve Nelson, who is the assistant contest director for the competition. Steve comes from a full-scale background. Steve, could you give us a little bit of information about yourself and exactly what your role has been this year?
Yes, I was in one of the earlier meets back in 1975. My original role here was as demonstration pilot, in which I flew Phil Craft's Superfly. Our goal at that point in time was not only to demonstrate the capabilities of one of the new monowings in the full-scale aerobatic world at that point in time, but it was also to demonstrate to the then model pilots at that time that we wanted to shift the flying to a sequential type maneuver system instead of flying individual maneuvers one at a time in front of the judges. So we demonstrated the sequences and slowly over years evolved the sequences into sequence and turnaround type maneuvers, much of what is now being flown nationally and internationally all throughout the world with models.
You actually drew up the configurations for this competition, did you not? Could you tell us a little bit about why you chose those and what particular K-factor, which is a difficulty factor involved in the maneuvers, tell us why you chose those.
The drawings, I did the artwork, but the drawings that we used, the sequences that we used this year, the known was selected from this year's actual known sequence, which is currently being flown in world-class competition. The freestyles are freestyles that either the pilots can draw up themselves, or since this is still relatively new to the modelers, we did provide them with 12 freestyles that were flown at the 1986 World Championships. They had the option then if they wanted to create their own or use one of the ones that we provided. Two of the modelers here at this particular contest chose to use freestyles of their own. The rest selected the freestyles that we provided for them. The difficulty factors are taken from what is called the Aresti catalog, which was the dictionary that has all of the figures and assigned K values according to their difficulty, and we have just stuck with those K factors, although in modeling their outside maneuvers are not as difficult as it would be to a full-size pilot. They don't have to go through the negative G's that a full-size pilot would have, but nevertheless we did stick with the existing K factors right out of that catalog.
Not all the flying at the TOC was by the book. Each contestant is given a chance to show off their own special maneuvers during the 3-minute air show portion of the competition. Here's Wolfgang Matt performing the 3-minute air show during the first round of the finals.
I am from Liechtenstein. That is a very small country between Austria and Switzerland. And I am 40 years old and I work as a personal manager on a bank. I am married, have 2 children and fly model airplanes, and I like it very much.
Like it very much. What are you flying today?
I fly Ultimate. That is the design of Bob Godfrey from the United States.
Well, what do you think about the competition so far?
Oh, it's going very well for me. I am at 3rd position now, and but it's not yet finished. I will try to do my best at the next flights.
The last couple of days have been quite windy. How will that affect your game plan, if at all?
Oh, that was not so bad because it was for the most pilot had the same conditions, and so it doesn't matter.
Though Wolfgang claimed to be unshaken by the wind, the gusty wind certainly played a part in some rough landings.
Thank you, Wolfgang Last. Wolfgang Last.
Between rounds of the competition, there were demonstrations by other RC modelers. One of the crowd's favorites was Bob Violet and his Viojet ducted fan models.
Well, the jets, first of all, are powered by an internal fan system driven by a model airplane engine. It's a very special model airplane engine that develops over 4 horsepower. And it pulls air into the front of the model through an inlet system, just like a real jet does, and accelerates the air out the back through the tailpipe like a real jet. The basic difference, say in an airliner jet engine, the fan is driven by a turbo-powered core, or a turbine jet, where in our case we're driving the fan by a 2-cycle, very high-performance model airplane engine. The airplanes are basically constructed out of the same materials. It's fiberglass and Kevlar used in the fuselage and the internal ducting system. The wings are foam covered with balsa. In our airplanes, it has carbon fiber spars and carbon fiber flex plates that are mounted internally in the wing to mount the landing gear on. The reason for the carbon fiber and the material is to give a very strong light airplane. We're exceeding 200 miles an hour in the dive out here, and the airplane must be very strong to go through that. But we also use the carbon fiber to absorb the landing shock. In other words, we can land the thing pretty hard and not hurt the airplane, which is nice. Airflow-wise, let's take the lid off here. Now we've taken off the top access hatch, and we can see the real guts of the machine. This is the fan unit that we designed, we talked about earlier. It's called the Viojet, and it's all molded out of carbon fiber material. It's rubber shock mounted into the airplane, and inside of here is a very special engine. This engine is made for our company by K&B in Southern California, American manufacturer. The engine is 0.8 of a cubic inch and produces about 4.5 horsepower, running on a 5% nitro fuel. What we're seeing here is an external fuel mixture control, or the needle valve system. In this case, we also have a radio control mixture control over the engine. Right in here on either side of the duct are specially molded fuel tanks. We call them saddle tanks because they kind of look like a whiskey flask, and they're shaped so that they can contain 18 ounces of fuel in the model, very close to the center of gravity and on the same elevation as the carburetor. This design of fuel system allows us to eliminate any need for a pump. And a pump is just another thing that can go wrong, and we'd like not to have it in there. Further back in the duct is a tuned exhaust system. You've seen them on the other airplanes here. And in our case, it's all inside the duct, and the heat from that exhaust also contributes to the thrust of the model.
16-year-old Chip Hyde was in first place, moving into the second round of the finals. Here's Chip flying his 3-minute air show during that first round.
Tell us how things are going for you.
The first couple days it was a little bit shaky because it's the first time I've ever been here, but now everything's smoothed out and going real well.
Well, you know, you come into the competition with a string of first-place victories and quite a bit of attention you're getting here. I think you have the respect of just about everybody here. Tell us what your plans are going to be in the final rounds of the qualifying rounds and also in your free program. What makes that special?
Well, I just plan on going out and flying the patterns like they're supposed to be done. And in my free program, I just do some maneuvers I put together that, you know, hopefully the judges will enjoy to watch.
Can you give us an idea of your background and how you got involved in the sport?
Well, I currently attend Copa High School in Yuma, Arizona. I'm a senior this year. And my dad started me flying when I was 4 years old.
Well, that's pretty much what it would take to do the type of maneuvers that I've seen you make. Just an incredible display of skill. What do you plan to do any differently going into the finals? Do you have any particular strategy?
Nope, just go out there and fly as good as I can.
Fly as good as you can. How does it feel to be out at the TLC?
It's a goal that I had ever since I was 4 years old when I first started, and the TOC first started. So I finally made it.
Flying by Chip Hine, thank you, Chip. Superb.
During another break in the activities, the Colt helicopter demonstration team and members of the Circus Hobbies helicopter team wowed the crowd with their loops, rolls, and aerobatics.
Airplanes, etc. This is available. Nice roll there, or line of the roll.
But the wind once again got into the act, as this beautiful auto-rotate landing becomes an unwelcome advance for one of our cameramen. Later, the same team performed the auto-rotate maneuver with incredible precision. But it was champion helicopter pilot Curtis Youngblood who really stole the show with his maneuvers that defied the laws of physics. The most common phrase heard was, "You can't do that." No wonder they call him the Houdini of helicopters. Here's 7-time TOC champion Hanno Pretner performing his unbelievable 3-minute air show in the first rounds of the finals.
Hanno, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you continue to come back and really perform on a very consistent basis at an extremely high level.
Yes, I'm practicing very hard, and I started modeling when I was a child together with my father. So my father taught me how to fly models because he also was Austrian champion and internationally very successful. And in the meantime, I have won 5 times the F3A World Championships and 7 times the Tournament of Champions here in Las Vegas. So I enjoy it here very much because we can meet all our friends all over the world, and I can meet here all the best model pilots worldwide, and so it gives a lot of fun to see how the other pilots are flying and what model types they have.
Could you tell us how many hours actually have gone into preparing for this particular competition?
Oh, that's difficult because you also have to take account the design of the model and to draw the plans and to make everything and to build the models, to prepare the radios, to prepare the engine. So I am using a special setup for the engine, which is a twin, 2 engines running on my self-made gear drive. And this gives tremendous power, but it takes a lot of work to make all these special items.
Where do you see the sport headed? What would you like to see from a pilot standpoint, improvement-wise, in the next few years?
I think what they are doing here is quite right, and I hope Mr. Bennett from Circus Circus will continue with this contest, and I want to thank him very much for sponsoring this event and for inviting all the peoples of the whole world, and it's just real fun to be here in Las Vegas.
Very nice freestyle aerobatic by Hanno Pretner.
At the end of the first rounds of the finals, it looked like the high winds might put an end to the contest. But winds weren't the only thing stirring up problems.
Well, it's up to you. If you want to vote, if you think it's too much of an advantage, you make your own decision. Majority vote rules.
Judges were surprised when Hanno Pretner asked to be allowed to use music during his 3-minute air show.
You want
After putting it to a vote, it was decided that this would constitute unfair advantage, and so Hano's innovative aerial ballet was performed to the sounds of the wind and the engines alone. The wind affected everyone during the finals, as is evident by this potentially disastrous takeoff by Tony Verkowiak. And this cross-runway landing by Wolfgang Matt.
Thank you, Wolfgang Matt.
Steve Rojecki's chances were cut short after this damaging takeoff. His propeller snapped off on the runway, but he managed to bring his plane in for a safe landing. Tony Verkowiak makes an almost vertical takeoff into the strong winds as he goes into the final round of his 3-minute air show. Here's a few exciting moments from that routine. Wolfgang Matt of Liechtenstein again dazzled the crowds in his final round. But it all came down to a shootout between Chip Hyde and Hanno Pretner. Here's part of Chip's final air show program. Now watch this as Chip performs the famous torque roll, a first at a model aerobatic show. Hanno Pretner pulled out all the stops during his final 3-minute air show, turning, twisting, and spinning his plane in mind-boggling maneuvers, including this original Hanno screw knife's edge spin. When the final figures were tallied, Mel Larson of Circus Circus handed out the coveted awards and the prize money. The 5th place trophy went to Steve Rojecki and a check for $5,500 cash. 4th place went to Tony Frikowiak and a check for $6,000. Third place and $10,000 prize money was taken by Wolfgang Matt. Second place and a check for $15,000 went to Chip Hyde. And at first place, 7-time champion Hanno Pretner makes it 8 as he takes home to Austria the trophy, $25,000, as well as a special award from J.R. Propo Products for $10,000.
My dear friends, I just want to give my very best thanks for this outstanding competition. I want to give it especially to Mr. Bennett, who was also this event, to Mr. Larson, of course, who organized everything, and also to our competition staff, Doc Edwards, the chief staff, Bill Kraft, the contest director, and everybody who was involved with this success and with this very nice weekend which we had here. So I enjoyed very much to be back at the TOC, and I'm very thankful that Mr. Larson already, I think he already announced that there will be a future TOC, and so see you in, when is it? 19.